Let's get started with curse manipulation. Another popular ability or concept that has more or less become a universal answer for why existence can suck. Users of Katárakinesis, Katara loosely translating from Greek to mean curse, calamity, or disaster, can create, shape, move, control, interact, and change curses. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know what a curse is, even if it exists in the form of words. But for those who like to hear me do the same thing over and over again, a curse, in its simplest terms, is any expressed desire that some form of adversity or misfortune will befall or attach to one or more persons, a place, or an object. Super simple. In fact, this ability is so simple in theory that one with this power might be able to manifest curses as a form of energy or a force that can be used to achieve various effects. They can effectively curse anything they wish and might be able to exert power over things that have been cursed. And as we all know from nursery tales, the number one effect of curses is misfortune and misery, aka bad luck, which is another primal fear because all creatures live by the two P's, seeking out pleasure and avoiding pain. So with all that being said, this ability has obvious negative connotations. So it's no surprise to say that this is a power that most characters with a negative pointing moral compass will possess, normally. But in every bad situation, there's always a silver lining if you can even find one with this power. In the case of this power though, it's to avoid being cursed. But in the case of y'all watching this video, I would say the silver lining is to do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. No voodoo, no witchcraft. That's kind of counterintuitive for what I'm trying to accomplish, and that's a shade promise. But if you guys don't care about curses and just see yourself as him or her, then hit that share button so others can know about the dangers of this ability. If you guys are ready to find out why your hair or teeth are falling out, to perform the hand sign of the cross, and let's get on with it. I don't even think that would help. Okay, so to say that the concept of a curse is as old as dirt is an extreme understatement, because before we're able to quantify what dirt was, we knew what misery and misfortune were. Even if we didn't know the exact scientific and or medical causes that we know today, we knew that discomfort was not how we were supposed to live through life. Well, most of us did. So we tried to classify it in our own limited way as things such as sickness, disabilities, misfortune, and acts of malice or evil left an everlasting effect on those experienced, and thus the effect became mythologized and feared and passed down to warn others. But where would humans be if we didn't make fables or legends about curses in order to warn future generations? Well, not in a good place, I can tell you that, as myth and legends have numerous religions that take this concept and run with it. For one, I can say that most if not all forms of deities in any religion have this power. In fact, it seems to be the cornerstone of dealing with any supernatural being, evil or not, because curses are viewed as supernatural effects in most cases. It doesn't matter how minor you think the slight is, if any at all. If this otherworldly being wants to use you as a cautionary tale, or just decides to test your faith in that particular moment, next thing you know, boom! You're cursed. But it's not just gods that do this to others, there's also humans that do this to others. For example, if you try to help someone or ignore someone in need, then you're just asking for some magical man or woman to gift you with an ill effect. Shoot, there are entire religious practices that deal with the eye for an eye way of lifestyle, meaning you do something and the effect that you gain afterwards is an unwanted curse. That's right, I'm looking at you, voodoo. But beyond that, I'm pretty sure you guys can see the patterns here. So now let's get the common stuff out the way. Yes, a curse can also be called a hex or a jinx in some cases. Yes, in many belief systems, the curse itself or accompanying ritual is considered to have a causative force in the result, cause and effect, meaning that it's usually done intentionally. And yes, in order to reverse or eliminate a curse, sometimes called curse removal or curse breaking, the spell or technique or whatever was used on you has to be dispelled, and oftentimes requires elaborate rituals, prayers, and the intervention of a strong supernatural presence. I hope you guys are catching on to the main theme of this concept, as cursing, a curse, or curses are just cause and effect. You do something, and as a result, you reap the benefits of which you sow. which explains why something as primal as that is one of the main reasons that this concept still exists the way that it does today. Curses as we understand them, however, were a way for humans to keep other humans in line so that society can grow instead of stagnate and then break down. If you think about it, and I want you guys to do so, in the majority of cases where someone has been cursed, jinxed, or granted exceptional misfortune, the recipient of said curse usually brought it on themselves in one way or the other. Examples of grave robbing and tomb raiding show us, for one, it's morally wrong in most cultures to rob someone's grave. But two, you're probably releasing some kind of contagion or will trigger some kind of effect that'll contaminate or cause harm to those that come in contact with it. I mean, dead bodies aren't the most sanitary as they're decomposing organisms, so the effects of the filth and the eventual sickness that'll follow can be viewed as a curse. The removal of a visually appealing object can reveal a trap. Another example, walking under a ladder, a hanging piano, or walking through a construction site without a helmet. Am I saying that doing this would trigger something supernatural? Nah, probably not. But it is good common sense that it's probably not a good idea to walk under something heavy without head protection. More examples? Why not? Patricide, matricide, or just all-around kinslaying, aka murdering a family member, is considered one of the worst taboos that one could ever commit. As you know, you share blood with this individual, so on an esoteric level, if you're willing to kill a part of yourself, then you really can't be trusted. If you think about the story of Cain and Abel, that was probably the number one thing. Yeah, the curse might have been supernatural, but I mean, he killed his brother. I wouldn't want to hang out with anybody who killed his brother, and that was his curse, being forced to wander the land away from anybody else. But getting back into this concept as a superpower, curses are well known to create and induce supernatural anomalies. And as such, a curse can be and look like anything, ranging from simple poisoning, a dark-colored mist, all the way to anthropomorphic personifications of actual concepts, like demons or spirits. And these very same anomalies are capable of harming others by affecting their physiology. The danger of these curses can reach into warping the environment and eventually reality itself. So, if the curse affects a place, house or land, these places usually tend to turn into hellish landscapes, or at least have trouble supporting basic life, while at the same time inflicting bad things on the people that reside there. It usually shows itself as weird weather or landscape changes. Dimensional rifts might form, along with random objects or things appearing out of thin air. And shoot, you might even get things moving without a reason, like a poltergeist or demonic entity or something. If a curse is placed on an inanimate object, such as a weapon or artifact of some kind, the wielder of said object might be able to manifest the curse as energy or gain additional superpowers from it, but the trade-off usually has them not only fighting whomever they're going to battle in the first place, but also trying to fend off the corrupting influence of the weapon that they're using. This normally shows itself as a battle of mental fortitude or willpower. And because of that, the cursed weapon trope is extremely popular and heavily associated with this power, especially in fantasy settings. However, the effect of a curse on a character and/or story is basically a plot device or a way to motivate a less than normally motivated character. The process of getting rid of it can drive a character to do great and terrible things, which will progress the plot. Meanwhile, enduring a curse can add drama and complicate a hero or the protagonist's life, which can also progress the plot. And although resolving it can lead to a satisfying resolution if done well, it can still progress the plot. I mean, that's kind of the point of using this concept in the first place. You curse something because you want something else to happen, like I stated earlier. When shown, this ability encompasses various categories ranging from sickness and/or diseases, infertility, physical defects such as ugliness or deformities, etc., when normally affecting organic beings. But when it comes to inorganic targets of this power, this can cause the objects to break or work incorrectly, which can cause problems when said objects are used, as they'll have a tendency to draw various disasters towards situations or just not work at all. Traditional curses of a magical nature include transforming the victim fully or partially into a animal monster hybrid, or just a straight up monster, or maybe an animal. But no matter what, it'll have a negative effect and usually possess an offensive presence, bloodlust, insanity, or unstoppable rages that make it hard to exist around more civilized folk. Some users of this ability might have side effects such as a corrupting touch or a wound that never heals. They even might give targets misshapen or inhuman offspring as a side effect, and a whole host of other effects that just make life unbearable. And oftentimes, it's up to the cursor to determine how easy and or difficult it is to break said curse. Stats for a power like this range, and I'm not kidding when I say that, because the concept of a curse can encompass, well, anything. A user of this power can have attack power that ranges from low to high depending on the effects and conditions of the curse, low to high levels of speed, as I assume the activation time and speed of the curse affecting the target play a factor in that, low to high levels of defense, and that pretty much depends on the conditions of the curse, and so much versatility that this concept exists in nearly every form of media that range from bad luck, plague, famine inducement, Armageddon, superpower granting, whatever you want to give it. As long as it can be quantified as something negative, it's a curse. And in keeping in theme with the open-endedness of this power, there's no common ways to show this power being used. But the one thing I can say is that this power leans heavily on the supernatural or the paranormal side of human existence. So you're more than likely going to find users of this ability hanging around graveyards or backwood alley shops. They might dabble in the dark arts such as, witches, warlocks, religious cult leaders, cult worshippers. You'll find a lot of supernatural beings that make twisted deals possess this power. Heck, even a human with unfinished business whose desire for vengeance allows them to transcend their own death can be found with this power. Now, with the power to manipulate curses comes the natural ability to actually be able to locate and visualize curses through your own senses in whatever manner they exist via curse detection. Now that you can actually detect sources of curses, the next step is to manipulate the curse into attacking, defending, and using curses for various offensive abilities with cursed attacks. And since you can detect outside sources of curses as well as manipulate them to attack, why not use those two applications to lure in and collect curses like a magnet does towards metal towards you or a certain point with curse attraction? The next best thing to do with the swarm of cursed matter that you have swarming you, unless you want it to float away into nothing, is to give them a form of mass and density by condensing them together via curse solidification. From there, since they're more or less in a form that can be shaped, take it a step further and give that shape both forms, simple and complex, with curse constructs. But for users at the next level, if you think you're too good to control outside sources of curses, then generate your own curses and imbue them with various effects, from tormenting enemies to horrifying results to inflicting terrible conditions on the innocent with curse creation. Users can then place a curse or a supernatural negative effect on whatever they wish, people, places, objects, etc. The exact effects can be nearly anything the user desires, ranging from minor annoyances to torturously extended death with curse inducement. If you want to be able to withstand and suppress the curse techniques of others by lessening or eliminating its effects, then curse negation would be an application you need to make use of. But if you want the ability to place curses on those you feel deserve them while taking them away from others, then you're gonna need curse removal in order to do so. But to be honest with you, there's no need to do that when you can completely no-sell anyone or anything that tries to use cursed effects against you with curse immunity. While higher level users are not only able to remove outside curses, but they're also able to place them onto themselves or target another altogether with curse transferal. And since you can remove a curse from one and also place it onto yourself, it would make sense that you're able to take them into yourself safely with curse absorption. From there, users can increase their own physical and spiritual prowess because they took in outside sources of negative supernatural afflictions. And as a bonus, they can gain extra strength from those strong negative emotions in the surrounding area or the emotional distress from the curses that you're absorbing via curse empowerment or negative emotion empowerment. They are basically the same thing. From there, they can transform their body or their form into one made up of curses, or born of a curse. This can range from transforming into another form or having a form that personifies what that medium's version of a curse represents. As such, being cursed or having a curse is the same as breathing or having a heartbeat to them, which would then mean that removing said curse would be the same as removing a vital organ from them, which would in turn kill them, because this user has a cursed body. If you channel the curses into anything that isn't yourself, then you can imbue that material with a curse or malediction, giving it negative but also powerful properties, which will in turn create a cursed object. From there, the user can infuse negative effects, aka curses, into whatever combative capabilities they possess, in perhaps one of the most sinister ways to beat someone into submission, with cursed combat. And lastly, the user can just bring the dead back to life, but cursed. Yes, you have another chance at life, but this is usually never a good thing, as this can manifest in a number of ways and have a number of negative side effects. Like I said before, yeah, they have another chance at life, but they also might be weaker than they were before. They might have additional bad luck on top of the luck they had in their previous life. They might come back wrong and suffer from insanity. Or the biggest slap in the face, they come back, but they come back in the same condition that got them killed in the first place. Or if they want to die later on, they won't be able to because they're cursed. With cursed resurrection. And there you have it. Curse manipulation in a nutshell. An extremely powerful and harmful ability that has dozens of forms and uses. Well, actually endless forms and uses, but we already covered that. But just like every other ability, it still has its fair share of weaknesses, but not as much as you would think. Any user of this power needs to beware any users of holy or divine or purification type powers. Some curses only operate by contractual obligation or certain conditions, so you might not be able to curse any and everything willy-nilly. Destruction of the placer of the curse may undo the curse effect altogether. And of course, the user's own knowledge, skills, and strength will determine how far one goes with an ability like this. And now, with all that out of the way, it's time to place this ability on the scale. Curse manipulation is pretty useful if you're into the negativity and the hopelessness and despair and all that good stuff. Me personally, I try to stay positive. Doesn't always work, but hey. But other people have other preferences, so on a scale of 1 to 10, the Shea scaling system gives this power a supernatural 8. As the only way to deal with this, barring any luck or destiny altered powers, is to pretty much endure until you find a cure or a way to break the curse. And to the best of my knowledge, they usually don't stop until you break them. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. You guys think of any more applications for this power, jot it down in the comments. If you're tired of talking about the same old powers I've done before, then jump ahead of line and join my channel membership, where for only $5.99 a month, you'll be able to not only watch the complete video unedited because of YouTube's random copyright, but also future videos that you guys have requested numerous times in the comment section, but I just haven't made public yet, such as these heavy hitters. Yeah. So click now and join if you don't want to wait. If not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.